All right, so you guys have seen my boat. This is another icon. I'm suspecting this is because of the boat that was at the Classic.
Yes, it was seen. And
by the way, Yoder, nice work shoes. OSHA is going to frown on your socked feet working in the boat.
You see this white?
Oh, yeah.
You see this icon with a brand new wrap on it?
It's an aggressive wrap, let's say.
It's aggressive. Yes.
You're not going to miss that guy on the water. So this is somebody who saw your boat at the Classic, is that correct?
So he saw my boat, saw this boat as one of the Classic boats, loved it.
Oh, this boat was on the showroom floor, wasn't it? This is the right, yeah, okay, I know which one this was.
Yeah, you saw it.
Yeah.
Everything come off. The Garmin, the MBT.
What model is this one?
This is a 21LX.
Okay.
It had a 16 Garmin, a 22 MBT live scope, and it had a Garmin Force trolling motor, and it had power poles. So now we're going to have, if you start at the front, we've got a Minn Kota Quest.
Cool.
We have 5 deucers up here. We have target lock with a Mega Live, a live scope on the deucer, a live scope in perspective, 360 and side scan underneath the trolling motor. We have 5 deucers on the front. If you step back here.
Wait, it's got side scan on the trolling motor too?
Yes. Yeah, it's 5 deucers.
Good God.
So right here, you're going to have 2 Apex 16s and an MBT 22.
So that's 32. That's 54 inches.
50 Fusion radio. Right here, controlled right here. In the back, it'll be controlled through a graph.
Okay.
So,
what are you going to put on the dash?
Come back here.
By the way, this is slick. I've never seen this. It actually set up where you can pop it out and get to all your controls.
A lot of your wiring right here, your wiring harness, everything. So everything's built without having to really get underneath, okay? That's the concept.
I like it.
This is going to be a compartment like mine.
All right, we didn't go through that properly, but yeah, you would put all your controls in this compartment.
Yes, we'll have 2 live scopes. We'll probably put the live scopes side by side right here, run our wires up, we'll come in, up into the dash. We'll have a Humminbird 5-port Ethernet hub right here. On the dash, we're going to have a 16 Lowrance Live Pro, an Apex 16, and a Garmin 12 right here.
And you're gonna make that fit?
Yes, we fabbed the deal. We removed the icon screen. We will have a vertical mount right here, and according to where our Apex ends, we'll have a swing arm vertical mount for the 12 right here.
Nice.
So with each unit here, we'll have side scan in the back. We will have 3 side scan deucers.
So you're going to have Lowrance, Humminbird, and Garmin side scans.
Side scan, down scan in the back.
That would be fun just to go out and look at and see the. This guy's from Missouri, right?
Yes, he mainly Table Rock engineer, and then he loves to go up to St. Clair for the summer for a month.
Nice.
So this boat will mainly see Ozarks, Table Rock, and then St. Clair for the summer.
And are you putting a Psionics on it?
Yes, and we're putting a white one. It'll be here tomorrow. It's going to have a Psionics night vision camera on it as well.
That's called, for those of you who haven't seen that, it's called Night Wave, and it's a really cool. And we talked about it a little bit. What I like about it as much for the night vision is that you can see where you're idling.
Yes.
During the day, you can tilt that camera down a little bit and see where you're idling. So that's pretty slick.
Yeah, especially if you're on some of the lakes such as Fork, Rayburn, Millwood, Pine, driving through some deep timber. You're actually able to see the stumps out in front of you that you might not catch through the nose and the trolling motor of the boat.
And then the power poles came off?
The power poles came off because he wanted Raptors. He wanted it all on the one boat network.
Gotcha.
He chose to mainly network the Minn Kota, and he wanted everything to work on the Apex. So we're going to do a one boat network. We haven't started yet, but we will have, of course, we'll have an AGM for cranking. We're going to have a 280 amp hour impulse lithium, another 280 amp hour impulse lithium. This charger, it's a 460 PCL. It will charge all of this. Over here, I'm not going to raise it up, but we will have 2 impulse 40 amp hours ran parallel on the trolling motor side.
Okay, so for those of us who don't understand batteries and amp hours, can you give that to me in something I can understand?
So it's all through a calculation on paper. We calculate how many amp hours each separate graph, black box, LVS 34 deucer pulls per hour.
Okay.
They can range from 1.2 to 3 per hour. Well, we'll do a calculation based off how much draw you have to the total number of amp hours that you're going to have back here.
And then you can add, because lithiums are so much lighter, you can add all the extra amp hours in there and not add weight to the boat beyond what you would have had with regular lead cells.
Yes, and a lot of people are realizing, we're kind of learning that a little more weight in the back is helping on the lift and on the top end speed.
Yep. Yeah, you're not getting
But the
tip
biggest
heavy.
thing that we've learned in the last month, guys, is that the technology's there, the graphs are there, the available to build these out is there, the batteries are there. What is behind is most of your lithium problems boil down to charging. Most of your chargers are behind on the market compared to what we're building up here. Like, we're building all this technology that's draining 25 amp hours an hour times 10, 250 amp hours in a day. Some of them are going as high as 350 to 380 in a day, especially when you have dual transducers back here, dual in the front.
I didn't think about that. I mean, a transducer draws juice.
An ordinary transducer, no, the black box
that's what I mean.
that runs.
For every one you have, you're drawing more juice.
You're drawing more juice.
Yeah.
You can't cut it.
And this boat's got 8, probably 9 transducers on it?
It's got 5 in the front, 4 back here. It's got 3 side scans and an in hull.
And one in the hull.
There's
So
9
there's 9 transducers in this boat.
So,
holy cow.
What we've really learned with Pro Staff, with Impulse, with all brand lithiums really, is none of the charging applications are up to par. So we learned it really fast through November, December, January, and February with all of these huge boat builds. So take a Todd Castledine, burning his batteries up all day. He's running 4 over here, and it's great. Last daylight to dark.
Yeah.
And it's not the problem. The problem when he comes in to charge is he's burned down, I think, let me correct myself, I think he's running 3 Impulse lithium 36 volt chargers.
Okay.
Batteries, which they're lasting all day long.
Right.
Daylight to dark, 12 hours. He's 8 to 9 to 10, wide open. He's only got 10 amp chargers. So we're having to double back around and double up on the banks of charging, because all of these competitors, Elite Series, touring guys, every one of them are daylight to dark on the water.
Right.
They come off the water at 7, 8 o'clock at night. Their charger's only charging 10 amps per hour.
Can't get it charged back up.
You can't get it charged back up in the morning. Well, the next morning they got to go out. Now when they come back in, it's no longer at 30 or 40.
You got a snowball.
30, 20, 10.
Yep.
And it just snowballs, and after 2 or 3 nights of that all day short nights, they can't get it caught back up.
So are you just adding more chargers then?
Yes, we're having to or add additional chargers or double up on the banks on the chargers.
I got you.
So
okay.
on a Minn PC, you can run 2 banks per battery. Some of your other brands won't allow you to, because it'll cut itself off and think it's charged. So we're kind of playing around with what chargers will allow us. I know Bill at Impulse is coming out with a 20 amps per hour charger that will double, which will catch up really fast.
Make a big difference. Cool. So when will this boat leave? Gotta be at least a 3 day.
Friday.
That fast?
It'll leave Friday. It'll be done Thursday afternoon. We got 3 hours on it yesterday, probably. Taylor's been in the front. Ashley's been in the back. He had to take deucers off today. Power poles off.
Graph off the console.
Graph off the
pull
console.
All the wiring out.
Wiring out. Then he started back. We've got our 3
see y'all are
deucers
running.
run to the front. Our 4 deucers. We have 4 deucers run to the front. Tomorrow morning, Ashley will do Raptors, battery compartment, mount the deucers. I'll be in the middle. Taylor will be up front.
3 men on one job.
It'll take 3 men 8 hours a day for 3 days to finish. It's got to be right when it leaves.
So Yoda made a comment there, we're playing around, and they don't, my experience here is they don't play around. So I said, well, how do you know this? So I actually went over and whipped out a clipboard, and this is his spreadsheet that he has built. So there ain't no playing around here. You guys have actually put the math to it to figure out. What did you say this one is?
We're at 44 amp hours per hour, not counting live well pumps.
So look at that. Look at the live well.
And
We
his
all
live wells right now are 800, so you might as well figure 3.5 amp.
800 gallons per hour. Yeah.
Plus so you've got 4. You've got 2 on each live well.
So that's an interesting point.
So that's 16 amps just on your live well.
Most of us don't take into account practice day versus tournament day. You burn. Pull that back up. You burn. I mean, crap. That burns. A live well burns more.
That's 16 amps an hour.
So if you're running 2 live well pumps at 800, you're burning roughly 7 amp hours. No wonder you eat your cranking battery when you're running all your even before we started all this kind of a build. Yeah. In that little Sabre of yours, just what your bilge and what your rainy days and what your live wells are pumping. Because I turn my live wells on, leave them on all day. They don't kick on at all.
I kick mine on, and I have a thing from Academy called Mr. Bubbles.
Yep.
Because the older cat didn't have the recirculator, I have a Mr. Bubbles that I run from 8 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. But most people, especially in the climate we're in, will run their live wells from the first fish all the way through weigh-in. So on your practice days, you have longer days than tournament days.
Absolutely, yeah.
But on tournament days, you don't take account that you're running your live wells all day.
I never realized they drew that much off of it.
This boat right here is at 56 amp hours per hour. And
if everything's on.
If everything's on.
Yeah. And you're talking about a 10-hour day. You said we got, what did we decide, 580 amp hours?
663.
On this side, not counting the trolling motor
Just
battery.
on the 12 volt side.
On the 12 volt
side,
side, yeah.
motor side's going to be fine. He's got 80 amp hours. He would have to get in some serious current to run down.
Yeah.
But over there at 663 amp hours, in a perfect world, you run 56 per hour, not accounting for some heat. You'll overdraw, your amperage will get high when something gets hot. So if you just say, I mean, let's go to St. Clair, or go to Kentucky, or let's go wedge fishing.
Or it's a 12-hour day. Yeah.
I mean, you're 56 times 12, you're at 672 amp hours. Now, on a long day like that, we're obviously not running live wells, right? So if you ran everything for 12 hours, you're at 672 on a 663 amp hour system. But we can take roughly 12 to 14 amps per hour off that for live wells.
Still a huge burn.
Let's just say an 8-hour tournament day.
You know,
56.
all the graphs on the console on standby.
So that's a good question. So when you flip a graph to standby, does it turn your transducer off?
Yes.
No.
So the answer is yes or no according to the transducer in the unit. Gosh, I can't remember. One of my Humminbird's turned off.
Standby, the GLS 10 box is still active, and the 36 is still pinging.
Okay, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming here to bring you direct from Garmin, and that you're going to hear them talk about this, but it's sort of convoluted, and I'm not going to be able to finish this. I'll finish it right at the end of this video. But in fact, so if you just put a unit on standby, it's still pinging, which means it's still drawing a lot of juice. So there is a way, which Yoder's going to explain in a second, to turn all the units off, and then I'm going to come back right at the end and explain how to turn off one, and then also some power saving tips from Garmin. Can I share your
Easy way to
spreadsheet?
stop doing it is to push stop, transmit, and then put it in standby.
Yes. That's the only way to get a true standby is on Garmin. You'll hit disable all sonars. And on the Ranch, it says stop sonar.
Stop sonar.
I don't know what it says on Humminbird.
On a Garmin, can you turn off one sonar?
Not if it's on the network.
Yeah, they're all connected.
Because when you hit your power button one time, you'll go through power, brightness, look down there, it'll say disable all sonars. It don't say select sonar.
Right.
You either disable all or none.
Now you can go through the screens and do live scope, disable live scope, but still have.
That's like on Hummingbird, you could disable your 360.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a little tangled up in semantics there. Ashley alluded to it, and you heard Yoder agree right there at the end. So, for example, if you have your forward and your perspective both on your front graphs and you wanted to turn one of them off, what you would do is you would say menu, transmit in that screen. So you just go menu, transmit, and you can turn off that particular transducer. I had asked because I thought I did it the other day. I had both of them working and I had interference. So I flipped one of them to map, and in my mind it cleared up. But they said that's just in your mind. In fact, you were still transmitting off both those transducers. So that's good to know, and something I'll probably start doing. And I even made the comment, I don't really use my 2D through the whole sonar very much. And they said, well, yeah, you could just go in and disable it if you don't use it very much, especially on tournament days, and that's one less transducer that's pinging and pull and draw. But they said there's actually a couple of ways to reduce the draw a surprising amount without really having significant impact. And the main one is go to your brightness, and versus having it at 100, just drop it down to like 94 or 95. And they said that, for example, on a 12, that'll take your draw down from like 2.3 to 1.7, which is pretty significant. And they said you will not be able to tell the difference looking at your graph between 100 and 95. So this actually has got me thinking about some other videos we're going to do in the very near future with the help of some Garmin folks, of some things you probably need to do to manage this inside the system. So stay tuned on that. I thought I was going to get to Georgetown next week and film this, but I'm not. But we'll get that up one way or the other with the help of the folks at Garmin in the very near future. And then I finally got answered. And by the way, I'm going to put that spreadsheet up again for you guys right here, because I know a lot of y'all wanted to see that and maybe make a copy or print it. But one of the things I have wondered since I got my Garmin's was, why can I not turn a unit off? And the reason you can only sleep a unit and not turn it off is because they all work off the same map card. So what would happen invariably is a guy would turn off the unit with the map card that has the map card in it, and you wouldn't be able to see your maps. So you cannot turn off a single Garmin unit, again, as Yoder said, unless they're not linked together. But everybody links them, so you only use one map card. That's why you cannot turn a unit off, is because they're sharing information between units, and if you turn one of them off, you would lose, or you could lose that information. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I found this one really interesting. Again, that wrap was a little more aggressive, but I gotta say it turned out pretty nice. That's the boat and the units on it beautiful. It's an aggressive wrap, but hey, to each his own. Somebody probably didn't like my wrap on my last boat or my black boat today. So thanks for tuning in, guys. And again, we'll have more regarding these same topics up here in the real near future. Thanks, guys.